Exempt. An exempt from Fathers of Nations by Paul B. Vitta. Read the exempt below and answer the questions that follow. Good evening, Pastor. The caller was in a jovial mood. His voice was all syrup and honey. As part of growing informality between him and Pastor Chiamaka, he had taken to calling Pastor Chiamaka only by title like that. This is your guide speaking. Is that right? Let me call the media. Pastor Chiamaka said sarcastically. His scheme having failed, he was smoldering in a bad mood. He was nursing on purpose, as in the self-indulgent act of slow suicide over a fire he had set at minimum. Pastor, you sound angry, said the guide. Why should he die? Goodness, you're angry. You'd be too if you were in my position. Enough of your self-pity. Now let me remind you, don't. In a sermon 4 years earlier, Pastor Chiamaka had made statements he believed to be within the bounds of permissible political expression. Still, the police had picked him the next morning. Before he could ask them why, he had found himself in jail sharing a cell with very bad people. I don't need reminding, he said. All right, Pastor. On to another subject now. A meeting is soon to bring together you and 4 other people. Plus guess who? Oh, asked the Pastor Chiamaka. His tone was not any rebellious. Me. 2 days ago, you said you didn't want to be seen. Well, meet in an hour. Why the long notice? Room 2059, center wing of the C.R.E Hotel. Be there. Ciao. A. His scheme having failed, explain the scheme that Pastor Chiamaka had. Pastor Chiamaka had a plan to meet his president. He would have extended his hand to shake the president. He would have shaken the president's hand and kept shaking it until the man got tired. He would have then asked the president about his view on Way Omega. He wanted to know if Way Omega had to come down in vote during the summit the following day. Which way would he go? Adapt or reject? He would have then mocked the president by asking his name again and then flee to the nearest bush for cover. B. Outline the statements Pastor Chiamaka made 4 years earlier in the sermon. So Pastor Chiamaka told his congregation that their president had made a public memo written to his staffs about an ongoing problem. Pastor Chiamaka claimed that when there is a problem, Nigeria expects its president to find a solution, not to write a memo. He read the memo, which had the following message: My government advises its officers to treat recent events with caution. He went ahead and said the government is supposed to act, not to advise itself. He questioned what the president had done to stop the fires that had been consuming their cities. He said that the president had called the fires recent events, which meant that he had done something about the fires. C. Identify and illustrate 2 styles used in the exempt. So we have dialogue. The guide and the Pastor Chiamaka are having a conversation. Metaphor. His voice was all syrup and honey. Sarcasm. Is that right? Let me call the media. Flashback. In a sermon 4 years earlier, the police had picked him up the next morning and he had found himself in jail. So those are the two examples you can give about in the sermon 4 years ago, and then you can also say they picked him then. Question D, apart from Pastor Chiamaka and the guide, name the other 4 people who are to attend the meeting. Tad Longwe, Professor Karanja Kimani, Comrade Kobile Melusi, Engineer Saif Tahir. Identify and illustrate any one theme in the exempt. Arrests and imprisonment. Pastor Chiamaka was picked by the police and found himself in jail. Using information from the other parts of the book, give the name of the guide. Dr. Abiola Ofolabi. What happens immediately after the exempt? Comrade Melusi was in bed daydreaming about his wife Ziliza. He was thinking about Ziliza's beauty. He pulled out her photograph and started admiring her beauty. His phone rang and he is irritated by the caller who tells him to attend a meeting in an hour's time in room 2059 without fail. Explain the meaning of the following words as used in the exempt. Jovial is to be happy, or jovial, you merciful, you cheerful. Smothering is burning with or having strong emotions that are not expressed. Permissible is permitted or allowed.